Hey guys, Thrasher here. A lot of people have been talking about really old characters and how they just can't stand up against current characters, so let's talk about that right now. Okay, so in general, older characters are not going to be as powerful as new characters. And sometimes you have newer characters who show up and they're just not very good. They're not used a lot in PvP. They're not as powerful as other new characters. What the game has generally done is they've added extra abilities to characters to help rebalance those characters and make them more viable. The way they did it in the past was they took the least used characters in PvP or least used sparking units and they gave all of them a buff. So let's go into menu, characters, and then we're going to go to character list and we're going to find Pan because she's a great example. So what they did with her, we go to show details, we go over to abilities, and we go down here, inflicted damage up. 30% to damage inflicted from battle start for 25 timer counts. That only unlocks once you get her to her final class up. So you get her up to 1500. Now, what they're going to do in the future is probably the same thing. So there's a lot of other characters who are just not good anymore. What will probably happen is the next time we get another class up so characters can go beyond level 1500, there's probably going to be a set of characters who are not utilized right now that will get buffs that are very similar to this one that unlock once you get them past level 1500. They're going to keep rebalancing these characters because what's going to happen is if the really old characters continue to get weaker over time, then people will catch on to that and they'll realize, well, why would I pull for this character if they're not going to be good in 6 months? Yeah, for a period of time they won't be good as other characters pass them, but they're going to rebalance the character so it gets good again. And yes, this just comes down to, obviously they want to do whatever makes them the most money, and if they have a character that comes out and then is garbage in the future, that won't make them as much money as if they can keep all the characters balanced, but then they also have characters who just came out that are better. So that's really what you should look for on the balancing side. And sometimes the balancing doesn't work. Like a good example is Kura. So let's go look at him real quick. I don't believe I have him, so we just have to go down here, and there he is. We open him up. So if we go to abilities, there's this one right here, blast attack up when you get him to master class. So when you get him past 1000, he can go up to 1500, and he gets 15% to blast damage inflicted for each opponent downed by the current character. Now the problem is that doesn't make him useful enough as a character in PvP, so he will probably see another balance adjustment next time they increase the level cap. And they'll continue to do that until he starts getting used in PvP. And that's just like I said, it's to keep the characters as close as they can, because if you have characters who are just complete garbage, there are going to be people who aren't going to spend crystals on them, and that's not good for the economy of the game or for the developer's pocketbook, whatever you want to call it. They want to do anything that allows people to spend the maximum amount possible, and balance is what is going to cause the most spending to happen. Also, another thing to note, we're actually probably getting really close to them increasing the level cap, because we're at a point where we were last time and the time before where the non-hard mode missions have pretty much reached the same level as the level of our current characters, which means we're at the point in the story where they want us to be, where we should class up again. I'm not saying that's going to happen in this very next patch this next week. It might be a couple weeks out, but it's getting pretty close. I would assume it's sometime in the next month. And that's really all I have for this video. If you think I missed anything about how they're going to rebalance characters, when the characters will be rebalanced, or just generally how this game's going to run in the future, throw it down below and we'll talk about it. If you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.